Hey, greetings from sunny South Texas. How's everybody doing today? All right, for today's Easy Comic Reader podcast, I wanna share this with everybody, and that's gonna lead us into what our podcast is for today. All right, so I'm over here reading my funny books, and I see this ad, man. This ad right here. Every time I see this ad, when I'm reading, I come across it. Boom, my mind goes automatically to my dad's 74 Dodge van that he had back in the day, right? That thing was brown, a two-tone brown, right? And it had bucket seats and a back seat that folded over into a bed. Now, my old man's van was not decked out in any kind of crazy paint job like this ad is promoting here. And by the way, if you've never seen this ad, I doubt there's not too many people watching this that have never seen this ad, but yeah, this ad was to get you to write in and get you some information on how you could do custom paint jobs. But anyway, yeah, my dad's wasn't all fancy, nothing like that. I was probably riding around in it in probably 1978, 79, maybe 80. Who knows, man? It's been a long time, but I just wanted to share that little memory with y'all. But for today's podcast, we got some cool images to go along with the podcast it's going to follow. So go read your comic books. But before you do, take a minute and relax, enjoy this podcast that we put together for you. And hopefully it brings a smile to y'all's face. All right. So appreciate it. Man, thank you everybody for watching and listening. And we'll see you next time on the Easy Comic Reader podcast. Y'all enjoy this one.
Hey everybody, and welcome to another deep dive. This time we're going way back to the 1970s. Yeah, we're hitting that van craze, that customization thing. We're going to try to figure out why vans kind of took over the culture back then. And we'll see how it all connects to what was happening in America at the time. We've got two cool articles to help us unpack all this. One from Rare Historical Photos and another from Motor Cities, so buckle up. It's going to be a groovy ride.
It's wild to think that the 70s saw the muscle car era fade out, and in its place, this whole new form of self-expression popped up, custom vans.
Yeah, these vans were more than just cars, right? They were like statements, rolling statements of individuality and style. It was all about reflecting the owner's personality, their interests, everything.
Yeah. You hit the nail on the head. The 70s were a time of huge shifts socially, culturally. And these vans, they were like a way for people to break free from the norm, embrace their own thing. And
the Rare Historical Photos article dives into all the crazy ways people were customizing these vans. We're talking bubble windows, spoilers, mag wheels, even custom horns, anything goes.
Oh, yeah. And inside, forget about it. Plush shag carpeting, captain's chairs. Some even had beds. It's like they transformed these vans into mobile living rooms, perfect for hanging out or hitting the road.
It sounds like they went all out. But you know what really gets me? The airbrushed paint jobs. It's like they were rejecting the whole mass-produced cookie-cutter vibe of the time. They were making a statement, a loud one.
Exactly. And we've got some awesome pictures in the show notes so you can see just how wild some of these designs got. But it wasn't just individuals driving this trend. The big three automakers, Ford, Dodge, and Chevrolet, they saw this van craze taking off, and they were like, we're in.
They saw a market and jumped on it, huh?
Totally. Let's start with Ford. On February 28th, 1975, they launched their brand new Econoline van family, including those super popular club wagons. And these were a big deal because of their body-on-frame design.
Interesting. So how did Dodge respond to that?
Well, Dodge already had their B-Series vans, especially the Sportsman and Tradesman models. Those were doing really well, and they were in production for a long time, from 1971 all the way to 2003.
And Dodge was known for those bold graphics in their vans, right? They really leaned into that visual aspect.
For sure. And in 76, they even launched the YH3 street van package, which was a huge hit with younger buyers.
What about Chevrolet? Were they doing anything cool?
Oh, Chevrolet didn't want to be left behind. They came out with the Series 30 van in 1971. And this was a big deal because it was the first time you could get sliding doors on a van. It was a game changer. And it became so popular that they added it to their Series 10 330 Stun Series 20 models, too.
So all three companies were trying to tap into this market of van enthusiasts, people who wanted to really personalize their rides. It's like they weren't just reacting to the trend, they were helping shape it.
You got it.
Yeah.
It's important to see how the automakers were both responding to and influencing this whole cultural thing. But let's not forget, it wasn't just about cool cars.
Right. There's a deeper meaning here, a cultural one. The Motor Cities article talks about freedom and self-expression. But I feel like there's also an element of escapism, like people were using these vans to get away from something.
You're definitely onto something there. You know, it wasn't just about expressing yourself, it was about wanting something more, something bigger. These vans, they were like this symbol of freedom, a way to break free from all the rules and routines.
I can see that. I mean, to think about what was going on in the 70s. The Vietnam War protests, Watergate. The economy was a mess. Maybe people just needed a way to escape all that negativity.
Exactly. Vans gave people the sense of being able to just go, to be independent, a chance to hit the open road and leave all their worries behind. It was about creating your own adventure, your own way.
It's like they were mobile versions of the American dream, but customized, personalized to each person's vision.
And that customization, that was key. Remember those airbrush wizards and Wild West scenes we talked about? It wasn't just about cool designs. It was a rejection of conformity, of everything being mass-produced. People were making their own space in a way that was totally new.
So it was a way to stand out.
Yeah.
Declare your independence. The Motor Cities article mentions how connected all this was to the popular music of the time.
Oh, absolutely. Music was a huge part of van culture. Think about that carefree feeling you get from Captain and Tennille's Love Will Keep Us Together. That song totally captures the spirit of the 70s, and it's so easy to imagine it blasting from a custom van cruising down the highway.
And we can't forget about Star Wars. I bet those vans were like rolling advertisements for pop culture.
You're right, and it wasn't just about music and movies. These vans were like canvases. People could show off all their passions, surfing, skateboarding, whatever they were into. They were putting it all out there for the world to see.
So how does all this connect to us today? Why should we care about a bunch of tricked out vans from the 70s?
Because it tells us something about ourselves, about this human need for freedom, individuality, and expressing ourselves. These vans, they weren't just cars, they were symbols representing a whole generation that was searching for something more.
So even though shag carpet and airbrush wizards might seem outdated, the ideas behind them are still relevant.
Exactly. That desire for freedom and finding yourself, that's timeless. And who knows, maybe we're about to see van life made a comeback, but with a 21st century twist.
Oh, interesting. What makes you think that?
Well, look at the rise of remote work, the desire for sustainable living. People are getting more and more interested in minimalist travel. These trends are creating a whole new generation that's looking for alternatives. Something different than the usual 9 to 5.
And vans could be the perfect solution.
Right.
You've got the flexibility to work and live from anywhere, travel on your own terms, and it's a smaller footprint on the environment. It all makes sense.
Exactly. So imagine vans in the future, equipped with solar panels, high-speed internet, modular workspaces. They could become mobile offices, tiny homes on wheels. People could truly live and work from anywhere.
So instead of airbrushed wizards, we might see vans with 3D printers, or maybe decorated with minimalist, eco-friendly designs. It's like the canvas is the same, but the artwork is updated for today.
You got it. The van is just a platform, a blank slate. It's all about people expressing themselves and creating their own version of freedom.
That's a pretty cool thought. So when we look back at this 70s van craze, it wasn't just a passing trend. It was something bigger, something that spoke to the American spirit.
Absolutely. And while the specific trends might change, those core desires for freedom, individuality, self-expression, those never go away. And who knows? Maybe we're about to see a new wave of van enthusiasts hit the road, ready to create their own adventures.
That's definitely something to think about. What would your dream custom van look like? What would it say about you and your values?
That's a great question to leave our listeners with. Be sure to check out the show notes for links to the articles we talked about. And of course, those awesome pictures of 70s vans. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep on rolling.